What's up, fam? I can't wipe the smile off my face reading the chat. I will take an order of Buckeyes. Those are my favorite. Hey, Swish. Oh, so I love it. You're a cereal baker like my grandmother was. This was my favorite that she used to make was Buckeyes. Hey, Rose. Hello, Alley Cats. I hope you're resting. I was reading what you wrote in the chat. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome in. Hey, Lala. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Sock Mason. Hi, Cristobal. Hi, Duke Wild. I didn't have time to record for y'all today, so I thought we would get together and do a live. So I'm really keeping myself to Thursday through Monday schedule to be on YouTube. Yes, Sai, I think you should do that. I think we should make a little slideshow. Hi, Richard. Hello. Hello. Oh, the title. Let's see if that's where the band goes with the message this evening. It was just the conversation we were having on our walk before I jumped on the live. What are you willing to risk to really go after what's been placed on your heart? Was the conversation we were having. Ooh, gambling with the heart. That's the hardest gamble, Sai. Hello, Serenity Vocalized. You can't get Demon Butcher out of your head. You are the Demon Butcher. You're the Dream Warrior. That was the song that was playing in my head from that Freddy Krueger movie, that Dream Warriors movie. I don't even remember what hair band sang that song. You know what song I'm talking about? Yeah, that was a cool movie. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. That would definitely be one to rewatch. I usually watch those 80s horror flicks in October. Yeah, that one was underrated. That one was my favorite one. All right. Setting on things on fire is definitely possibly a omen for someone. I was so happy and giggling when I was reading the chat because I was pissed off just before I jumped on here. I bent over to grab something by the altar and my hair landed in my candles and I set my hair on fire. And then I knocked over a candle on the tarot table. Like I never do that. I was like, what is going on? I'm setting everything on fire tonight. What is happening? I had to sage the place so that it didn't smell like burnt hair. Oh, I did. I let it go aside. I started reading your cookie stream, and I was like, "Oh, I love this." Oh, well, thank you, Vanessa. Take a lot more than a little hair singeing to keep me down. All right. They told me to pull out the Citadel deck, so let's see what's going on. Let's see. I don't know if they want to rehash what we were talking about on our walk or what. Let's see what's up. The Hound. Oh, we haven't seen that one out of this deck yet. Yeah, that is what they want to talk about. All right, I'm looking at the air, the astronomer, and the hound. The chains of loyalty. Sometimes we have chains around the idea of loyalty, okay? And is there hesitation towards unseen potential? Because you're a star child, you're a child of the stars, right? The entire cosmos are opened up to you. But are you willing to risk things to be free of them without hesitation, to follow your heart? It's all perspective. Loss and risk equals freedom, unless we're in a mind space of fear about it. What we were discussing on the walk was they were having me reflect on some stuff. I know I've shared this on a live before, but a few years ago, I lost everything, what I perceived to be everything in my life. And I took a risk. I risked everything that was left to follow my heart. And the only mistake I made during that time, in hindsight, was listening to the advice of others that are dominated in fear-based thinking. I had already lost so much, so to risk the last bit of crumbs, and I wasn't in the best mental state because of all of my loss, so I chose to ask some people for advice. But all of those people are ruled by fear, and what I was choosing to do seemed so impractical that all they were doing was projecting their fear on me. I did it anyways because you could say I'm a rebel like that, but I just, you know what you know what you know. You know what I mean? In my heart, I knew what I was supposed to do. And I did it. And it equaled freedom. Is exactly what it equaled. Risking without hesitation discovered a whole new journey, a whole new life. Was released from lots of chains. But was told I was being unloyal. Unloyal to what? All of us have a path. All of us have certain things that are placed on our heart. Our intuition tells us where to go. It might not make sense to other people, but that doesn't mean it's not exactly what we're supposed to do. Yeah, Black Plague. When Spirit says jump, are you willing to jump? Are you willing to jump off the edge? Do you believe that you're protected and that you will land safely? Right, Alley Cat? It does take losing everything and taking that chance to not fear it. It's a strange dichotomy, right? But this was a chance that I had wanted to take decades earlier and didn't. I allowed fear and trauma to hold me back. But when I lost everything, you kind of go, what do you have to lose, right? What do you have to lose? And you know what? And from a personal aspect, my life has become magical AF since then. So are you willing to risk the things that in the end will make you free? All right, so let's look at this hound. Let's look at this loyalty, these chains, these promises. Loyalty Projected loyalty to people, places, and things, promises that have been made to us that actually, in hindsight, can potentially leave us in chains. The moon. Okay, they definitely want us to talk about this tonight. This is a repeated message. The moon. Behind the moon, we have the Page of Swords and the Devil. Okay, Page of Swords is all about that communication, right? All about that fiery communication coming from energies that are in fear. The Devil card in the upright is a representation of the fear, the self-imposed prison of the mind. Do we allow other people to project their self-imposed prison of the mind onto us? Tell me more about this Devil card behind the moon. What is hidden? Okay, they're saying is what is hidden in other people's communication? What is not on the surface, right? What's the root of the advice that they're giving? Of the words of wisdom? What is the root? Is the root the projection of their own fears? Is the root their systematic beliefs that may not resonate with you? Tell me more about this Devil card. Tell me more about the root of these chains in communication, please. Tell me more about the root. Judgment, the Tower in reverse, the Two of Wands in reverse. Not willing to deconstruct and build again. Not willing to make that decision. Not trusting in their magic. But this is where we're led by spirit, right? Is in the Judgment card. Judgment is the sign of spirit. It's a sign of the ancestors. When something is placed on our heart and we go inward for that sacred knowledge, that sacred space, that intuition, and go, no, I know that I know that I know that I know that this is where I'm being led. And we call judgment on it, then the ancestors and spirit also call judgment on it. And step in and say, okay, you ready to take the leap? We'll follow. People fear towers because people fear change. Change is very scary to humans. All of us. All of us have had times where we've been in fear and change. But it's so unnatural to the human experience to fear change. Everything on this planet, everything about nature is about change. It's about seasons. It's about death and rebirth. It's about cycles. And Earth School wants to push on us to be resistant to that, unless it has a label behind it. But a tower is a beautiful thing because it's a chance to build new. It's a chance to deconstruct that belief. Tell me more about this Judgment card with the ancestors. We're willing to take the leap, even when we can't predict the future, is when we get to go into discovery. Tell me more about this Judgment card with the ancestors, please. The Sun, the Ace of Cups, the Knight of Swords in reverse. We stop caring about what other people think. You have to. If we feel that we're here with a purpose and there's a purpose in our heart, We can't give a flying F what other people think. Their words have to roll right off of our back. Because unfortunately, when it's time to follow a dream, it feels like there's more people against us than for us, doesn't it? That's the tower that a lot of people want to resist, right? It's like it's not rocking the boat. Because this is the point where we stop people pleasing and we really see what people's motives are in the advice that they give. But taking a leap off the cliff, trusting in spirit, trusting in our gifts, trusting in that living water is there for us with the Ace of Cups, brings us to the Sun, the happiest card in the deck. Why would it bring us to the happiest card of the deck? Because we're more comfortable in our own skin than we've ever been. True happiness is authenticity. All right, let's look at this discovery. Standing in the sun. I dig that. We are made of stars. The discovery of authentic self. By willing to risk it, willing to risk the world's approval. Tell me more about this discovery. Eight of Cups, Five of Wands, Six of Pentacles in reverse, and Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow when we get ready to walk away from all those emotional cups. Because when we get ready to walk away from all those emotional cups, we see the truth. And we see the truth is jealousy, rivalry, competition, comparison. And this is a projection of other people's thoughts and feelings, right? Even if they're not saying it, we can feel it. Or we can hear it. The world wants to stop our progress, wants to slow it down. Seven of Pentacles is all about progress. When we start to realize that we don't need all of the things that we've been told that we need, that we must have, that we must accomplish. It's a complete contradiction to everything that the world is trying to sell us. And this is a tough one. The Six of Pentacles is a tough one when it falls with the Eight of Cups like this, right? Because the Eight of Cups is that choice to emotionally walk away. It's a lot of emotional cups. This is a lot of emotional cups we poured into people, places, and things. And we're willing to risk it and walk away. But the hindsight, right? The hindsight in going in for a deeper perspective, we realize that things were never equal give and take. Because love, thank you. What is love at the end of the day? Love is freedom. Love is freedom above all else. So when people claim to love us, but then we create boundaries, we follow our heart, we go our own way, and we're not giving, we're not meeting all of their expectations, all of a sudden the love's taken away. The love's taken away, and a Five of Wands shows up. Yeah, don't cast your pearls before swine. That's right. That was a tough one for me to learn. I did that for a lot of years. But we all star childs here. We got discovery, right? Those are hard. Those are the hard parts of the dark night of the soul sometimes is discovering those things that have been veiled. Those people, places, and things back here that we were so loyal to. But in hindsight, realized that they were chains. So are you willing to risk it to be free of it? What kind of risk are you really taking? Because if freedom is the definition of love, if freedom defines love, then anyone, any people, places, and things that's standing in this Five of Wands energy was not at a vibration of love. It was not at a vibration of love. We let go of the things that we love. And when we follow our heart, right? When we follow that soul's purpose, that thing that we know that's inside of us, that we're here for, that we're here to do. And sometimes blindly, just simply because we decide to follow spirit. So we know we don't know all the answers. We might not know all the outcomes. That's self-love. That's self-love. Living in authenticity is self-love. All right, let's look at the air. The air, you are the heir of many spiritual gifts. Many, oh, I have the chills. You are the heir of many spiritual gifts and so much wisdom of your ancestors. And there is unseen potential once we go through this discovery, once we go through the dark night of the soul, and these veils are taken off. All of this loss that we perceived that we had wasn't really loss. It wasn't really loss. We gained. We gained self. We gain self. We gain self-love. It's like the whole lens, the whole perspective changes when it equals freedom, not loss. And so what's this unseen potential? That's the unseen potential. There's no more potential in the deck than being the Emperor. The Emperor is the highest form of potential, beyond potential. This is owning it. This is owning that Emperor space, being the Emperor of our life. This is the mastery of Earth School. This is the willingness to go in to discovery, to these uncomfortable places and make these uncomfortable changes and not operate from a lens of fear. We become the emperor of our own lives when we're willing to move away to calmer waters. Tell me more about the air in this emperor energy too. Discovery, discovering the world, building the bridge. See that crow built that bridge with the wands? Building a bridge to the other side. That's also spirit building the bridge for you, right? When you're willing to say that you'll take the leap. When you get to the edge of the cliff and say, I'm here, I'm getting ready to jump. And then there's a bridge built to the other side. And the Ace of Wands, one of my favorite cards in tarot. This is all about going your own way, baby. That's what represents the Ace of Wands. Every time I see the Ace of Wands card, that Fleetwood Mac song comes in my head. You can go your own way. There's so much to gain by choosing to be authentic and going your own way. All right, let me pull a couple more of these. No matter how long I read tarot, I'm always so fascinated when, like, just out on a walk with Sky Witch. Took her to her favorite park right before I came over here. And the band's talking to me about how everything I perceived as loss and became the greatest gain, and we're just chatting it up, right? And then they'll deliver the exact same message in the cards, like they'll give me the download, right? But there's always that ego hesitation comes in because I'm like, I don't know. You don't want me to share that. Nah, you don't want me to share that. Well, we'll see what comes out in the cards. You do that too, Jimmy? All right, Van. What other messages you got? Oh, wait. I got it. What movie are we talking about? You talking about The Crow? What are we talking about? Oh, I can't find it. It will take me forever to go back in those. Yes. Yeah, great movie. I did watch that one again this Halloween. I hadn't watched that one in years either. Such a good soundtrack, too. Oh, it's one of my favorite movie soundtracks of all time. I got to hear The Cure perform that last year when I saw them live. The Calling was cool. All right, Van. Oh, this is back to that introspection. Because once we confront the things after the discovery, we realize there's a complete lack of empathy. There tends to be a complete lack of empathy from the world. So we start to understand the true motives, right? We start to understand these true motives. And then with the captain, so why wouldn't we take command? Why wouldn't we take command of our own life? We're trying to vibe high. We're trying to vibe in love. Oh, Blake, are you from Portland? I love Portland. I felt very Portland vibe last night. I got the opportunity to see Nako for the 10-year anniversary of Dark as Night. Very Oregon vibe. It was cool. It was an all acoustic show. The miser, stubbornness, inflexibility. And the assassin, ruthless. Ruthless. Okay. All right. Well, we have lack of empathy, stubbornness, ruthlessness. Are you willing to risk it for freedom? If this is what's been uncovered, what are you fearing? Right? What would the fear be in risking this? To be the commander of your own life. This is people, places, and things, right? This is a lot of the 3D world. The world be ruthless. The world be ruthless. Hi, Violets. Yes, thank you. My world is beautiful today. Thank you. Yeah, Arizona is not a good place for a vampire. Nor is Florida, nor is most of, the southern states, the lower states. Except New Orleans. We tough it out in New Orleans, baby. Yeah, Blake, Portland is a great town. Portland is great. Oregon's great. Oregon's beautiful. I'm new to the West myself. I risked the last of everything to move to California, to be in a place and in a culture that I felt like just aligned with my soul a bit better than where I was. Hi, Athena. I love New Orleans too. I just had a quick little trip there. It was magical. Alley Cat, Ohio is some of the best motorcycle riding in the country. I do appreciate Ohio. Okay, you must be clarifying these cards. They're clarifying these world cards over here with this temperance in reverse. We don't want to talk about those energies. Let's talk about taking command. The card also says teamwork. Finding the medicine. Finding your soul tribe. Finding your soul vibe. Tell me more about this Captain card, please. The Nine of Swords in reverse. The Eight of Pentacles. I'm dropping everything tonight. And the Ten of Wands in reverse. Are you willing to risk your works? Things that you've invested in for a very long time. Places where you've built your nest, security, to live a life of a Ten of Wands in reverse and a Nine of Swords in reverse in the mind. Total shift of perspective here. This is not living in our heads. This is cleaning out all of the clutter of all those things in the back of the mind. This is dropping the masks. This is not caring what other people think. Which these people, places, and things that we're talking about over here are showing up as temperance in reverse anyways. Waste of words. Waste of words. Tommy, yes, it does. It does take profound inner strength. Sometimes it feels like you don't even know where it's coming from. And you're tired, right? For all of us who experience that, you're like, damn, I'm just tired. Will somebody just help for just a minute? Hey, Dark Star. Thank you. We can give ourselves the rest, though. We can give ourselves the living water. I spent a lot of years where I completely defined my worth based on my productivity level and my career. And when all of that went away, it was difficult. I didn't know who I was anymore. I had embedded my identity so heavily into that, into my level of production, into what my career title was, but I was tired. I was burnt out. And that was a lot of wrestling. That's a very uncomfortable space to be in. It's uncomfortable to allow yourself to rest when you never have before. It's uncomfortable to have grace and mercy for yourself when you never have before. It's uncomfortable to learn how to love ourselves if we never have before. But fuck, it's worth it. What are you willing to risk to gain freedom? Freedom of the mind, freedom of the heart, freedom of the soul. In Western culture, at least, we're sold stress. We're expected to be people's saviors. We're expected to keep the machine going. The Walker, the unknown journey. Woo! The storyteller. The warrior. This is interesting. So the storyteller, viewpoints and control. Under the warrior, it says perfectionism and burnout. The exact opposite of what we would assume that would be labeled the warrior, right? But this is exactly what we're talking about right now. How much can you do? How much can you produce? How many people can you please? How many things can you take care of? Is that what really makes you the warrior? A true warrior knows when to go to battle. A true warrior is strategic, knows when to retreat, knows when to stop, knows when to go. A true warrior doesn't bring themselves to the point of burnout. That's not being a warrior. Thank you for agreeing with me, Sky. But what's the viewpoint? What is the world telling us? As opposed, what is our ancient wisdom telling us? What is our ancestors telling us? And what does walking into the unknown look like? Let's look at this warrior card. Yes, I'm still here. I can't figure out how to set that on my YouTube where it stops doing that. My ghost seer, not my YouTube, my ghost seer. I have no idea what that picture is they're showing me. Okay, let's look at this warrior, perfectionism, burnout. Tell me more. What more do you want us to know about this warrior card? The Hanged Man, the Ace of Wands, the 10 of Swords in reverse. I love this. You've gotten the 10 of Swords and the 10 of Wands in reverse tonight. Okay, of course, we know the Hangman is about going in for that higher perspective, going in for that higher perspective to stay on fire, to still be that fiery messenger on our own path into the unknown. Okay, the Hanged Man, pausing. The Hangman is all about the pause for the higher perspective. Choosing the battle. Knowing when to stop. Tell me about this storyteller, this viewpoints, these different viewpoints of this warrior energy. Is there anything more you want us to know about the viewpoints of this warrior energy? Eight of Swords. The Hermit. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. How much of the world do you think actually goes into hermit mode? Like actually really goes into hermit mode. That takes time away from the world to dive into the inner sage. Because the world tells us not to do that because of time, the construct of time. If you take the time to go into hermit mode, if you take the time to heal, if you take the time to go in for a higher perspective, if you take the time to meditate, it will put your wheel of fortune in reverse because nothing stops ever. The world doesn't stop and wait for you to heal and get a higher perspective. So stay in the self-imposed mental prison, stay in the anxiety, stay in the stress, because that's what makes you a warrior. What does a warrior really fight for? A warrior fights for freedom. That doesn't sound like freedom. Oh, they're showing me a little cottage, a little cottage in the woods. It's where I picture Sai lives, doing all of her fabulous baking. Yeah, right, Jennifer D. Okay, being in your personal paradise in lockdown. The world was selling us such a different perspective about being in lockdown. Rather than selling us this perspective that, okay, this is a time that we don't usually get. This is a time where we can slow down. This is where we can spend more time with family, where we can, right? Where we can learn that meditation that we want to do, where we could take better care of our health, where we could get on regular sleep rhythms. Instead, all of this media came out about the psychological adverse effects of people being alone for too long, right? And what it was doing to society and what it was doing to people's mental health and right? Rather than learning. Now and now granted, there were, please don't misconstrue what I am saying. There were a lot of very hard things that happened during the pandemic, okay? But I'm speaking to that in particular. Is very interesting as someone who studies psychology and watches a lot of things, particularly on social media about psychology. It wasn't until after the pandemic that all of a sudden there was all this information in psychology and all these podcasts and stuff about the dangers of being alone, right? And what has it done to everyone's mental health to be isolated and all of this kind of stuff. And just, you know what I mean? Like those fear factors, right? It was a time for the world to slow down. It was a time for the world, for us to maybe be able to shift our timelines and our concept of time again. And as usual, all of this fear was projected on everyone, and everyone was so anxious about the change, right? Yeah, I mean, I find peace in solitude. I enjoy the silence. Yes, true. There is no danger in being alone, only to the person that thinks it's dangerous. And obviously, if someone believes that it's dangerous being alone, they need to work through that. And there could be mental health reasons because of that. But I think it was the first time for a lot of people to actually truly be alone. But rather than utilize it as a form of hermit mode, everybody freaked out. Alley Cat, I think a lot of people learned things about their marriage during lockdown. That's definitely was a general consensus too, right? There were a lot of things that came to light about relationships. It can be intense if you're not prepared, and you're absolutely right along the shore. Like it's not like it happened gently, you know what I mean? I was in New York City. I was on a girls trip to Broadway with 3 of my girlfriends the day that the world shut down. There was no warning. I was thousands of miles away from home trying to get on a flight. Like it was, yeah. I'm not saying it was the dream, but in the world that we live in with technology, the way we value time, productivity, hermit mode is not something that is valued by popular society, so to speak. Okay, let's look at this unknown journey. The walker going into the unknown journey. Oh, this is so beautiful. Ace of Cups, 3 of Swords in reverse, the Hierophant. Creating new contracts with self. Creating new contracts with self, which we have to go into the unknown, right? We have to when things are unpredictable, when we don't know what the future holds, when we're willing to jump off the cliff but don't know what's at the bottom, whether we're going to hit the bottom or whether there's going to be calming waters. How much do you really trust yourself? How much do you trust your inner wisdom? Trauma will pull people out of a space of trust of self. Beliefs, dogmatic beliefs, also representative of the Hierophant card, will pull us out of trust of self and that inner wisdom and that inner knowledge. But when we do choose to trust and love self, boy, it reverses lifetimes of heartache with the 3 of Swords in reverse, and brings us to these living waters, these healing waters. This beautiful love, this freedom that we get in relationship with self and with spirit and with our band and our guides. Hi, Nathaniel. Welcome in. Yeah, Dark Star, I've always had that attitude too. There's always something to do. Boredom has never been part of my vocabulary. I don't know. There's always something to do. I did have to learn how to not be anxious, though, when I feel like I'm not being quote unquote productive. That was hard. That took a lot of strength of sitting on my hands. Yeah, freedom from schedule, freedom from job, freedom from what we think is priorities, right, Jennifer D? Shifting the priority. Boredom is in your vocabulary, Jennifer. I don't know how boredom. Oh, look, they're showing me that beautiful cardinal. I don't know how boredom could possibly. Birds represent freedom to me. I always think birds represent freedom. I don't know how you could be bored with your mind, Jennifer. How is that possible, Jennifer? Your mind is fascinating. Your gifts are fascinating. Oh, your sun, moon, and rising are all cardinals. Oh, I love that, Serenity Vocalized. All right. Let's dive into the Moonology deck. I'm going to pull a couple of those. We'll clarify them. And it might Well, depending on what the band says, but thinking we'll end the reading there. Only because I did spend 4 hours singing at the top of my lungs last night, so my voice is a little shot today. Oh, really, Jennifer? Wow. I love the moon too, Nathaniel. It's the planetary energy that I've always feel like I've resonated with the most. You're a Pisces moon, huh? Oh. I'm a Pisces sun, Aries moon, Pisces rising. Are you growing almonds too now, Dark Star? Scream stress. I know exactly what Twilight episode you're talking about. I love it. Oh, thanks, Duke. I'm so grateful that you're here. Man, I used to watch The Twilight Zone with my mom. I love that show. All right, new moon, a new start is coming. We are in the new moon season right now. Full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. Well, isn't that confirmation of everything we've been talking about? Super moon. Emotions may be running high. I don't feel like that's you. I feel like might be energies around you because of everywhere the direction of this reading has gone tonight, okay? When we choose to lose things and risk things for the opportunity of freedom, it will make others' emotions run high. I believe that that's what's happening, but let's clarify because I don't feel like that's you. So let's see. All right, let's look at this. Let's get some final words on this. You are good. You are good enough. We are all good enough. We're all perfection. We are all perfect, just the way that we are. There can also be a lot of for those of us that are in this collective energy that really do feel a drive to purpose. It's like we want to add value to the world. We do, right? And that can also swing to the wrong pendulum too, right? Of that burnout that we were looking at in the warrior. If you heal yourself in this lifetime, which affects generations going forward and the generations of your ancestors, that is good enough. We don't need to be anybody's savior. We're not here to save the world. If we alone can vibrate at love and be free, that will free those around us. But, for people who are pure of heart, there are many times where we feel like we're not good enough. We're not doing enough for others. We're not in enough service. And that's bullshit also. That is its own paradigm of control and of false expectations being projected on us. I say that with full confidence as someone who used to be a social worker. Wait, is the Twilight Zone on Sci-Fi? Oh, they do a marathon on New Year's Eve. Oh. Yeah, I spend New Year's Eve. All right. What else do we need to know about this You're Good Enough card? Ooh. Yeah, because this is what matters. Do you feel the joy? This cup is joy on the journey, to the unknown, to the wish fulfillment. Can we all truly say that we're marching that road with joy in our hearts? Look at that old gospel song. They're singing that old gospel song. I got joy, joy, joy. But seriously, if you can vibrate at the frequency of joy in all matters, that is enough. That is enough. Because your works are not, our works are important, but it's not what defines us. Earth is hard. We are supposed to experience this. We are supposed to experience this. I love that, Alley Cat. I love that. That's the definition of faith. Feeling that something big is coming and it fills your heart with happiness because you don't know what it is. That's trusting yourself. That's that inner knowing, because it's a choice. When we don't know what's coming, do we choose fear and anxiety, or do we choose happiness? Do we choose to have a happy heart and be filled with joy and be excited about the unknown as opposed to fear it? You feel like a kid at Christmas. I love that. You had a high vibe last night, Dark Star. It is overwhelming when you have high vibes at first, when you're not used to having them. It feels very foreign. That happened to me during this long, extensive hermit mode that I exited this year, that I was in for over a year. I'd spontaneously feel joy. I'd never felt it before. I can actually remember one time going to a conference with a bunch of women, this like spiritual churchy conference, and the theme of the conference was happy, and everything was yellow. All the decorations were yellow. Every column, every balloon, and me looking at my friend and going, I hate everything about this already, and we just got here, because I have no idea what happy is. I never feel happy. I never like internally at that point in my life felt happy. And not that I was walking around negative and miserable and all those kind of things. I was burnt out. Because I never thought I was good enough. It was all about my works. But like when I analyzed it, because I was like, why am I so aggravated to be here? Like the big word, like in big letters everywhere, right? All these signs that said happy. And I was like, these people, what is this even? So it does. It feels weird at first when you start feeling good vibes and you're not used to them. But then, right? Then we start to like it. And that's when we're willing to risk things for freedom. Because those energies that came out of control, of lack of empathy, you know what I mean? Of unloving, of selfishness, or like, get out of my vibe. I'm vibing high. I don't want to be around this. People, places, and things we used to be willing to tolerate anymore. Once you get that cup of joy, you're like, nah, my boundaries are completely changing here. All right. Well, Alley Cat, this might be for you. Let's see. This new start is coming. It says there's a new start coming with the new moon. There's something coming in. Let's see what this is about. What's coming in? Yes, Anja, boundaries galore. I feel like I learned that one late in life, but that happens typically when you experience, for those of us that have experienced childhood trauma or have that, the high adverse childhood experiences, ACE scores, as they call it. We usually get into our boundaries a little later in life. All right, what's this new star? What's this new star that's here in this full moon and this new moon energy right now? Eight of Cups, Temperance, Three of Wands. Again, this message is repeating. What you are willing to risk, what you are willing to walk away from is creating a whole new world with this Three of Wands. I'm going to clarify this Three of Wands. That's what this is about. This is about the larger horizon, the new perspective, feeling like the entire world is open up to us because in no way is fear holding us back. And so much living water here and fire and fire. When we're willing to walk away and we're willing to heal from it, our balance of fire and water comes back. And that fire is what's going to set him on that journey, that fire in his heart. Tell me more about this Three of Wands. For many of you, there's going to be a lot of travel coming up. There's going to be a lot of discovery of lands and places you've never seen and you've never been. That's cool. That's cool. All right. What's this emotions are running high with this super moon? Tell me about this emotions are running high. Four of Wands in reverse. Yes, emotions are running high for some people that you may have closed some chapters with right now. Yeah. Four of Wands in reverse and the Tower in reverse. Oh, I mean the Tower. Control is the exact opposite of love. There are some people in your energy that are not feeling victorious at this time and starting to go through a tower because they realize they can't control you anymore. Because you're free. You're free as a bird. You let yourself out of the cage. We let ourselves out of the cage. Okay. Any final words? I'm looking at a man with a riding crop in his hand. That's what they're showing me on the ghost seer. Somebody doesn't like that they can't control you anymore. Final words for the reading. Where we used to feel a Five of Pentacles. This is felt. Pentacles are in the earth, right? Pentacles are everything in the 3D world. It's about the body. It's about health. It's about the things that we manifest physically, okay? Where we put our works into. Times where our health has not been good. We've felt left out in the cold, okay? Scared about our finances, scared about our next steps, yet still willing to take the risk. This is where we end up. The card of love, the card of complete emotional fulfillment. What are you willing to risk to gain this? To gain freedom of the mind, freedom and love for self, freedom and love for others, because we love ourselves enough to create the boundaries that need to be created. Beautiful. Beautiful, Star Tribe. I dig it. I dig it. Sweet dreams, Vanessa. I hope you have sweet dreams this evening. You are a free bird, Alley Cat. Your reading this week was really good too. I felt a lot of freedom in your reading that we did on the live on Friday. Just a lot of chains being removed around aspects of relationships and beliefs around relationships, right? It was good. Yeah, breaking lots of cycles. I could feel that really strongly in your energy. Oh, you're so welcome, Jimmy. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I posted this so last minute, but I was running around and I didn't get a chance to pre-record something for you today. And thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, control is an illusion, isn't it, Jennifer D? Yeah. You know, that term memento mori, right? Know your own death. That's a very Catholic. It's a Catholic teaching, but to know your own death is quite profound, right? Like understanding. Like obviously, we all know that we're going to die, but to know our own death and to not fear that, and instead embrace the time that we are living, is also a deep understanding that control is an illusion. And that's a hard one. That's a hard one for us to free ourselves from, for many reasons, for so many reasons. Because it's not what's sold to us in the world. Trauma, that's something I have to work on too. It's so funny. The band keeps, I feel like my spirit guides right now are being really hush hush about something, that they want to surprise me about something. And I hate surprises. I hate surprises because it's a trauma response, because I feel a loss of control, right? And so they're doing it right? Like they're pushing me out of my comfort zone on purpose with something right now. And it's something I need to get past, because it's just a trauma response, right? And most people love surprises. Who doesn't love surprises, right? And I'm like, don't surprise me. Don't ever surprise me. Do you hate them too, Screamsters? Yeah. And I know for me, it's a trauma response, because for so many years I felt so like, because of my trauma, the need to like control my everything about my environment. Not even surprise. Even though I've healed so much of that, like I still don't necessarily like surprises. And I keep hearing them saying, it's a surprise. And I'm like, I know, I don't like surprises. Oh, that used to be such a trigger for me, Alley Cat, when people would tell me to relax. That used to make me furious. There was a time in my life where that would make me so furious if someone told me to relax. I'd be like, oh, that's okay, Screamsters, that you can't drop the harpoon. You will get there. You will get there. And in the meanwhile, march on with your harpoon proudly. You would trade it for a butcher knife. Hi, Heart Angel. Hello. Thanks for popping in. Oh, Robin. Yeah, you all are the best. You all are the best. I'm so grateful that we got to hang out tonight. Can't wipe the smile off my face. Okay. Yeah, so Thursday through Monday is the schedule I'm adhering to. And this month have several changes going on to be able to do that and to expand on some things finally. Hey, Seventh Known Tarot, how you doing? So, yeah. So I will see you all again on Thursday. We'll work into the weekend. Oh, eating lemon cake. Y'all with the baking. I feel like I can smell it. Oh, I'm sorry. I read your screen name wrong. I follow your channel too. Hello, welcome in. I glanced at it. I also need glasses. Uh, Seventh Crown Tarot. Welcome in. Very happy that you're here. I thought it said known. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, you're packing up, Jennifer. That's not, yeah, it's kind of hard to do some of that traditional stuff when you're packing up. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Many of us here love your channel too. Grateful that you're here. Grateful that you're here. And Sai, I'll take an order of Buckeyes if you're making them. Those are definitely my favorite. Love peanut butter. Yes. Yes, I think that there's no coincidences when it comes to that. That the collective is coming together as it should. Oh, that's okay if you haven't made them, Sai. We know that they'll be fabulous. Yes, true. Buckeyes do not require baking. So Screamstress and I could probably both make them, but eh. Yeah, Duke. I hope everyone gets to see the magic of life sooner rather than later, too. It took me a long time to see the magic of life. And yeah, it's part of the reason why I do this. It's in hopes people to see and spread the magic of life. Because I know everyone here is magical AF, so yeah, are you all about the Buckeyes too, Jimmy? And the what's the other one too? I like that other peanut butter one that's like a peanut butter cookie and then you put like a Hershey's Kiss on top of it. That's like it's almost like it tastes like a Buckeye, but it's like a cookie, right? Like the cookie's peanut butter. Those are rad too. Those are probably my other favorite holiday cookies. I don't know what they're called. What are they called, Sai? They have a name? Yeah, Athena, I agree with that. I don't think I would change anything. I don't think I would change anything. I wouldn't change the path at all. What was hard is for so many years I really, for like 20 years, was seeking healing with a tenacity that a lot of people don't. Like, I mean, I went through every therapy modality, geez, man. I mean, you name it. I mean, sweat lodges. I became a yoga teacher. I mean, I just, man, I would go on these meditation retreats out in the woods. Like I did everything. Religion, and a common problem I found is no one. What I realized when I like forsaked all of it and was like, I'm just going to figure this out for myself. Like every healing modality that I dealt with was all about light, 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 the light, your light, your light, your light, your light, your light. And not really not honoring the shadow. Like I feel like we can't, it was just like a mask. Everything felt like a mask for the trauma, right? I mean, man, I even went and got degrees on this stuff and did all this advanced training on things like IFS, and shadow work resonated with me more than anything else. IFS does too, pieces of it, but it was like everything felt, even all the spiritual healing modalities in nature felt very dogmatic of like, you're light, you're light, you're all light, you're all light, you're all light. And no, I'm not all light. I'm not all light. And I've seen a lot of darkness in this world, right? Like my own personal experiences and being a social worker for so many years. I've seen the darkest things that can happen. And we can't just like gloss that over, right? Like it was just no one was with all the experience I had, all the education that I had in these modalities. It's not only just about integrating the shadow, but accepting it, like accepting the darkness, accepting my darkness, you know? And then once we do, I think that there's, I personally think from my experiences is there are very healthy ways to express that rather than just trying to stuff it down or exile it, right? They tried to do an exorcism on me. That didn't work either. You know what I'm saying? So yes, definitely. I believe that a huge part of a life path for someone who's experienced like a lot of darkness or hard times is like, we understand empathy. I'm so grateful for that. Like I can truly say I know empathy for humanity. And when everything is all sparkly rainbows all the time, if that is someone's life path, and that there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't believe that they have the opportunity to understand this deep empathy that we gain from hardship. Yeah, you make bat-shaped Christmas cookies. Okay? You do crazy, what people would think is dark and violent portraits of yourself, right? Like when I did that whole shadow series, right? I was getting all these funky ass emails. Yeah, that's all healthy ways of expressing the shadow. You know? I want bat-shaped cookies too. Yeah, it just seemed like every healing modality that I dealt with was somehow incorporated like a denial of the shadow. And when I finally embraced my shadow is when I got healed. I personally, when I really feel like I got healed and came to like wholeness. So, but that's my journey. We all have a different journey. I'm all about that too. I'm all about that energetic sovereignty and people figuring out what they need. Be happy to lend a story and some guidance, but we all know our own truth. Yeah, it's true. Pearls do glow in the darkness with the most friction, don't they? Thanks, Seventh Crown. It wasn't for lack of trying, man. For real. I spent a 20-year journey, like, I've done the craziest things. I've been at the craziest retreats. I've been at the most, like, I've dealt with the most, like, extreme dogmatic religious settings. Like, I tried everything. It's like, why? Like, this can't be it. I can't just be like, you know, this traumatized human like that can't get past my past. For like this can't be life, right? Like this can't be all there is. I know there's more. I know I'm meant for more. Like so you were Pentecostal. Yeah, my in-laws were Pentecostal. My late husband. It was fun. That was fun. Uh-huh. Oh, there is so much more going on, Duke. There is so much more going on. That's a projection of the world too, right? That constant need to feel like we have to fix ourselves too. That was the other thing too. And I also uh in a an attempt to become empowered from being a victim of severely violent crimes, I then became re-exploited by the forces in the world that are claiming to work to eradicate these things. That was a whole nother web of realizing like how many things are crap out there. Like just in the sense of like a lot of do-gooders. I mean, in their mind, I guess they believe that they're doing good, but they tend to just be re-exploiting people also, right? It's a lack of empathy. It's a lack of understanding. But we see that all the time. I saw that as a social worker too, right? People come in and think they know how to fix everyone's problems rather than actually like speaking to the people that are suffering and finding out what they need. I saw that a lot in my years of working in nonprofit and in social work. What was that? Savior complex, right? Like I know what you need. I know what's going to make your life all better. You don't know what's best for you. Not true. People always know what's best for them. They know a lot better than you do, right? You know what's best for you more so than I ever will, and vice versa. Like, so yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of predatory circles out there. I do believe some are legitimately vicious, right? And then I believe that there's also this like this spell, especially in Christianity, that people are under, believing it's their job to be these saviors of the world, and the thing is they're so blind, like in their hearts and minds, they really believe that they're doing the right thing. They really do. They really don't mean harm. They really want to help, but they're not knowledgeable. Which the way to gain the knowledge is to be real with people, right? Be real with people and be willing to actually have conversations with people about what they need in their life. Don't project what you think they need. Oh wow, Serenity vocalize. That's wild. Yeah, no, Sai, they don't know what they are really following. But I do believe there are there are genuinely people in the world with like good hearts. They're just, sometimes their actions are just so misdirected. And I've been one of those people too in the past. I used to work in Haiti, in Cambodia, and places like that. And it's actually really funny because when I went through a severe dark night of the soul and like deconstructed like everything, every modality, I was just saying, right? Especially religion, because I had spent a decade in like a non denominational Christian church, and really just like went through a dark night of the soul and like nixed all human contact out of my life to sit with spirit and be like, what the hell is all this? Like, what is everything? The things that people believe you would normally need to repent for, in a sense, not that I was asked to repent, but like the things that they were pointing out was like, um, some of this like overseas work that I did, uh, like just being like, that's not how it is, like, and showing me that like when helping hurts, and when people think they're helping and they're actually not. And in particular case wasn't the stuff in Western culture, because I live in Western culture, but some of the things I was doing overseas. And it was actually really interesting because it was I was so drawn to voodoo culture when I was there. And I've always been drawn to voodoo culture, but I was there under like this like Christian authority of these like nonprofit organizations. So they were all boo about voodoo, right? And like when I sat down with spirit, and they were like, yeah, no, 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 no. They know, we all know God. We all are God, kind of thing. But it's just kind of funny because it's just an oxymoron that the things I would do with like Christian based nonprofits are actually the things that, like, when I sat on my hands with God, was like, yeah, no, those are the things I don't want you doing. And I was like, oh, I get it. Okay. So yeah, heart angel, the best guidance is always inwards, isn't it? It is always inwards. The best guidance is always inwards, for sure. For sure. But I think that when we go through hard stuff, um, and we want to seek help, that's normal, right? It's normal to want to seek help. And like when I think about the decade that I spent in that church, it was a very vulnerable time when I entered that church. But that vulnerability was like played off of, right? So all of these fun earth school lessons. Yeah, spiritual bypassing is much more comfortable for most folks. Agreed. Agreed. Most people want rules. Most people feel more comfortable with rules. There isn't a set commandments. Yeah. So lots of stuff. But I'm so grateful for you all. I'm so grateful that we can have open conversations about this stuff. That was definitely a goal when I started this channel, because people get so up in arms, right? So many people in the world feel the need to be right. And they need to be right more than they need to be empathetic, or more than they need to be a good listener. And I know I don't know a quarter of things. So I love that we have always been able to sit here and have open conversations. And no one's getting persecuted for it. Right? Because I didn't even know where to go with that. I was on a spiritual path my whole life until this, like, I say like spiritual, like I just meaning not Christian. And I denounced so many things that were in my heart I was sold something that didn't resonate with me, but I stayed in that space for a long time, and then I renounced all of that. So then, of course, that was there was a big persecution that happened with that. And then, so as I was regaining my inner truth again, but not feeling any community around it, I'm like, I know there's other people that feel the same way that I do, that we can all coexist. We can all coexist and share thought, right? I mean, that's shit. That's, critical thinking, philosophy, all of those things that are loved and important by people that don't always feel the need to be right all the time. We are everywhere, Sai. That's right. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. I love that. All right, y'all. I need to get on another platform so we can have a joint conversation. But stay magical, my friends. I'm trying to catch up on your comments a little bit. Stay magical. And I will see you in a few days. Yeah, actually, yeah, Discord's the answer. Yep. And I love that you have a Discord. That makes me so happy. You have a lovely day too, Seventh Crown. Glad you joined us tonight. Oh, you guys are freaking awesome. I love that it was set up for you all. I love that. I haven't seen Dusty in a few days. Okay. All right, that sounds good. Move these conversations off of YouTube on the Discord. Yeah, Athena, I believe people have forgotten how to think too. I do believe social media has a lot to do with that, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. Everything has to be siloed now to fit in an algorithm. And everything has to be repeated. Everything has to be a copy of a copy in order to gain any traction. But that's another rabbit hole for another night. Skywitch agrees. Yeah, 1984. Can we go back to 1984? Oh, no, I'm all about progress though too, right? I didn't say that very convincingly. Skywitch said no. All right, I love you all. I will see you soon. Have a great evening. Thank you, Duke. It was a treat that you were here too. I'm glad you came to the live. That was nice. Nice to see some new faces tonight. Good night, Rose. Good night, Screamstress. Good night, Lala.